Welcome back. Last call. Danny Castillo here to the program. Got a fight coming up here December 19th on UFC on Fox 17 in Orlando, Florida against Nik Lentz. First of all, you're at your gym. Where's your gym located right now?
We're in Sacramento right now. Sacramento, California. We're in downtown, Midtown, and this is where I do my strength and conditioning. I own a hot Pilates studio, but this is my strength and conditioning gym.
You own a hot Pilates studios, but do you actually do hot Pilates during training camp?
Yeah.
Okay. How many times a week?
I try to get in there at least once a week. The most I do is but it's just too much for me sometimes.
Yeah.
I really enjoy it because it helps with my mobility. It helps with the conditioning of my body, and the format that we use is similar to a Tabata style. So it helps build up that gas tank, and you're under heat, so you're getting a good sweat. And it's incredible.
Good.
I love it.
So, all right. So let me just get to it. Nik Lentz has been in the press a lot lately because BJ Penn talked about coming out of retirement and fighting him. And that was and because of the Mike Dolce thing, when Nick's no longer with Mike Dolce, and that was, Dolce and BJ don't get along. So he kind of became this little bit of a distraction, because, BJ retires, he's a Hall of Famer, and then he wants to come back and fight again. It becomes news. It's just part of the game that we're playing in. Did you feel like it became any part of the distraction as you were prepping, for this? Was that any kind of noise in the background for you as BJ was talking?
Not at all.
None.
Not at all. These types of things like that happen all the time, and it doesn't really affect what I need to do. And what I need to do is to be in shape. I need to be technically sound, and I need to be ready for what Nik has to offer. So, in the beginning, I was like, no, BJ, don't steal my fight, because BJ's a legend. If BJ wants a fight, I'm sure Dana will give him a fight. I'm sure they'll do whatever they need to do to keep a legend happy. So I was a little worried that my fight was going to be taken away from me. But I continued to train, man. Things like this happen all the time. That's what I try to tell people all the time. Like I've been in the sport for a long time, and at the highest level for 8 years. So, fights drop out all the time. 3 weeks before a fight, I've had people pull out on me. I get to the fight, people pull out on me.
Yeah.
I get to the fight, they come in 4 pounds overweight. It's your decision, your discretion to take the fight or not. And I'm not one to back down from a fight ever. So, out of the 21 fights that I've had for Zuffa, I've taken 5 on less than 4 weeks notice. And, that's the kind of thing that people don't talk about.
Right.
They talk about the new Sage, Northcutt, and all this other stuff, but they don't talk about how I've had 21 fights and I've never backed out of one fight. I fought sick, I fought hurt, I fought all that. You're never 100% going into a fight.
Right.
And that's another reason why I like doing interviews with you, because you're a fighter, man. I do interviews with Ariel Helwani. That guy's never seen a fight in his life, and so he doesn't understand me as a person. You understand me as a person.
Thank you. I appreciate that. And that's one of the things I strive for, is trying to get on a more personal level. And sometimes some of the questions I ask are a little bit difficult. Talking about Sage Northcutt, well, they were comparing Sage and Paige Van Zandt, being like the next upcoming, and then Paige Van Zandt obviously trains with you. She's supposed to be the next round of Rousey, which she recently just lost to Rose. So all of a sudden now, and she, Paige comes out and says, look, I know there's holes in my game. Rose exposed it. I got to work on it. Okay. But being in the sport for as long as you've been in the sport, and being at the top level for as long as you've been in the top level, part of you's got to be like, motherfucker, how are you getting all this noise right now? I've been doing this and helping Zuffa on short time notices, and being there all the time and always being on weight. And you've been here for 25 minutes and you're getting a Reebok deal, and you're getting these big deals, and you're the next coming of what's going to happen. There's part of you sometimes, and I know you guys are very close as teammates, so it's not like you're going to be bashing or whatever, but doesn't part of you still kind of go, hold on a second, little one, let the senior guys show you how it's really done? Does any of that ever come into play?
So, growing up as a kid, you have things that go wrong, and I'm just like, it's not fair. You tell your mom it's not fair. And my mom told me from a young age, well, mijo, life isn't fair.
Right.
And life isn't fair. And I'm not going to harp on it, and I'm not going to hate on Sage or Paige for them getting money. I'm like, get your money while you can, because this sport is unforgiving. Yeah. And you got to make as much money as you can. You got to invest it. You got to put it away. You got to pay your taxes. Those are the things you need to do right. And but it's a little annoying that that Sage makes more money than me right now.
Right? Yeah.
Yeah, because you know, you go down my list. My first fight was $3,000 against Donald Cerrone on 4 days' notice.
Yeah.
Three, and that's the number one contender in the world. 3 fights later, I fought Anthony Pettis for maybe $10,000.
Yeah.
I mean, you go down the list. I fought Michael Johnson. I fought Edson Barboza. I fought Tony Ferguson. I mean, those are guys that are in the top 10, and I made less in those fights that Sage made last night fighting Cody Pfister. And I mean, again, I might be sounding like
What about Dustin Poirier and Joe
Dustin
Stevenson and
Poirier,
Jacob Volkman and
Jacob
Anthony
Volkman,
Njokuani? Like,
Ricardo Lamas.
yeah.
I mean, everyone on my resume, if you go down my resume, in my opinion, will beat the crap out of Cody Pfister and would, in my opinion, beat the crap out of Sage.
Yeah.
And, you know, like, I'm not going to hate on the kid. You know, in fact, I'd like to mentor him. He's like, oh, I want to get in there. And, like, I love his energy. He's a great kid. He seems like an awesome kid. That's what the sport needs, different kind of characters.
Yes.
But, you know, if I to mentor him, I'd be like, kid, you need to put that gi on and you need to stay in the jiu-jitsu room. You need to get in the wrestling room and you need to work on that stuff before you ask for another fight. Because there's not another Cody Pfister in the division, in the lightweight division. I promise you. You can. I don't even know who the hell that kid is and how he got a fight. But if I could hold down Tony Ferguson for 13 minutes after his performance last night, just imagine what I'll do to Sage, that kid. You know, and I'm not calling him out. I'm not talking trash or anything, but that's just the nature of the sport, man. Like, and I'm a true vet, and I don't know. It's a little bit frustrating, but at the same time, I'm focused on one thing, and that's winning this next fight because you're only as good as your last fight. I lost my last 3 fights, and I've been in the dumps. I've been frustrated. I've been pissed off, and I'm ready to go.
And that was actually my next question because you lose to Tony Ferguson by split decision. I can see both sides of the coin. Like I that fight was really a split decision. I can argue either side and either have you win the split or have Tony win the split. Lose to Paul Feely, you got caught with a spinning back fist, and then you lose another split decision to Jim Miller in your last fight out in July. It's got to be getting to the point.
And then
now,
I lost a split decision to Edson Barboza at home too.
Yeah, 2 fights before that. So it's like you're on a bit of a bad run right now, and it's just because it's not like wow you're getting the shit kicked out of you and it's time to retire. It's like one judge just doesn't see it. Like it's literally one person in the arena just doesn't see the way that it needs to be seen, and it's going the other direction. You know what I'm saying? Is there any part of you that goes, okay, I have to change up how I'm fighting to win these split decisions, to win these super close decisions? Because then all of a sudden, if you beat Ferguson and you beat Miller, all of a sudden now you've only lost 1 fight, and you're over 500 for your last 6. It's like it changes the whole schematic of how people can be looking at you as a fighter.
Yeah. But it's hard, you know. Another thing my mom always taught me as a kid is it's there's no use in crying over spilt milk.
Right.
You know that's behind me. You know, like it's just the nature of the sport. And you know, I saw 2 of my teammates lose, and it's you know, I tweeted last night or 2 nights ago. MMA is, and you know, it's the highest of the highs and the lowest of the lows, and anything can happen at any given time. And it's not like any other sport. It's an unforgiving sport, and the best fighter doesn't always win, and I understand that. Now, I'm not saying that I won that fight against Tony Ferguson or Edson Barboza or Jim Miller, but I sure as hell didn't lose those fights. Like it's hard for you to tell me that I lost those fights, but I'm not going to say I won them because I would be taking away from the hard work that those men put in, and even though I don't like Tony Ferguson on a personal level. You know, I respect him as a fighter, and you know, like he won the fight, and that's it, and that's done, and I'm past that, and I'm moving on to Nik Lentz.
You said you're a little bit depressed getting ready, you know, because going on 3 fights in a row, 3 losses in a row is tough for anybody to handle. Did you have to deal with it? Like, did you go to sports psychology or have to do any mentoring or go to church more or anything from the mental side of the game to get you over? Because we all know you're physical. Like we see you. If anybody follows you on social network and they see you either training or coaching all the time, like it's like we know that you're in the gym, but it seems like the one side that you have to worry about now for you, especially as a vet, is the mental side of it. Did you do anything extra for this in this camp to get ready for Nik?
I've worked with sport, and that's the thing, man. I've done every possible thing. You know, I've been in the sport for a long time, And Uriah told me right when I came in, it's about peaks and valleys, man. Sometimes you're at the peak, sometimes you're down at the valley. You got to climb out, and I understand that. And it's it's frustrating. It is. I mean, I've done everything possible. You know, there's a camp I went gluten-free. There's a
Yeah.
camp I started swimming. There's a camp I was cycling. You know, I mean,
Yeah.
you name it. It's kind of actually going to be kind of cool. So when I look back on it, each fight camp tells a story about my personal life as well. So that's a kind of cool thing about it.
Yeah.
But I mean, I've worked with sports psychologists. I worked with hypnotherapists. I haven't worked with any lately. I just been keeping my faith strong, and I don't really want to talk about religion because I don't like pushing religion on anyone, and I don't like really hearing anyone talk about religion. But I believe in a higher power, and that's what I've been kind of reaching out to and restoring my faith with my higher power.
And that's, you know, it's right now, especially in America, because we're having such a hard problem with religion, especially this time of the year. Is it Happy Holidays? Is it Merry Christmas? Is it Happy Hanukkah? Is it Merry Kwanzaa? Like, what do you say to somebody? It's just like, I celebrate Hanukkah and Christmas, so that's what I say to everybody. Like, I don't do a Happy Holiday. It's just not me. But it's difficult right now for any athlete to go, well, you know, I'm reaching out to a higher power. But it is part of the mental game, and it's that faith in yourself or faith in something else that kind of gets us through a lot of these valleys that you're trying to get back to the peak. It's not an easy task to do, to change your mental attitude and change your mental thought process. And you've been doing it for such a long time. You probably don't even remember what it was like when you made that first stepping stone of, you know what, I really can go in here and do this. I really do have the ability to go and beat these top end guys on a 5-day notice and 4-day notice. Do you still feel like that now? There's so much further along in your career. You're like, if they called you and said, look, sorry, Nik got hurt on the 16th of December, they call you, hey, Nik got hurt. We have a different opponent. Do you still have that same confidence? Like, I'm good. Let's go. Whoever it is, it's totally fine. I'm ready to rock.
Yeah, I feel like, I mean, I've already fought the best in the top 10. I've already fought all those dudes. So it's like, what are they going to do? Give me another rematch? All right, I'll take another rematch. I mean, that would be great. But because of the nature of the UFC and because, you know, I got a new fort. Okay, so I lost 3 fights.
Mm-hmm.
Joe Silva gave me a 4-fight deal afterwards. I was surprised as hell. You know, I thought I was going to get cut. I thought I was going to get cut. And he was like, kid, you fought a tough vet, a gritty vet. It was a close fight, and I'm not going to cut you. Don't worry about it. So he told me that after the fight, and I felt, you know, like a relief. You know, the monkey was off my back. I was like, all right, I got one more. So, you know, just put all the focus and energy into this next fight.
Right.
But because of that, if they came at me and they told me, so-and-so, we're going to pick this person, I'd really have to look at it from a business standpoint because, you know, I can't take another Paul Felder, you know, like they're like, here's Paul Felder. He's got 1 fight in the UFC. I was like, I'll take that kid. I don't give a fuck who he is.
Yeah.
I didn't know the kid.
Yeah.
I didn't know the kid was 100. I didn't know he was 200 pounds, 6'4". Like I didn't realize that. And that's just me. You know, I took the fight, whatever. There's no, you know, I'm just going to fight. That's what I get paid to do. I don't get paid to give my opinion. I get paid to fight.
Yeah.
So, you know, I'm always going to take that fight. But because of the situation I'm in right now and, you know, like I have to keep this, you know, I still have a goal and I still have a dream to get up there and climb the ranks. And so it just depends on the opponent.
You know, and that's a veteran move, you know, trying to make that hard decision because everybody knows we don't get paid unless we fight. Unless you're getting inside the cage, you're not getting paid. So it's like, I could very easily be cutting myself out of some money right now by going, I can't take this fight because also too in the long run, getting cut from the UFC cuts all your money out. You know, the minor leagues are just not catching up as far as pay goes. You're not gonna be able to catch the same paycheck going someplace else. So that's a smart vet move. That's a veteran move going, I'm fighting Nik Lentz. If they change opponents on me, I'm gonna have to have a serious conversation with Joe Silva. That's smart. So what happens after you beat Nik Lentz? You win, you visualize this fight, you've thought about this fight, you see how the fight's going to go. The fight, at the end of it, they raise your hand, Bruce Buffer announces your name. What's next? Is there going to be a, hey, BJ, I know you wanted to fight Nik. I'll be ready in March if you want to fight in March and call BJ. Is there going to be a BJ call out? Is there going to be a behind the scenes, hey Joe, if BJ wants to fight, I'll take BJ kind of conversation, and do it like behind the scenes kind of thing, or you just gonna be like, whatever the UFC gives me is what I'm taking?
See, that's something that I go back and forth about. It's the whole Conor McGregor approach. Like, do I do that? Do I win this fight? Call everybody out, get the buzz, get everyone talking about me, but it's just not who
your
I
style.
am. Like,
Yeah.
it's not who I am. I mean, I may have to do something like that because I am getting up there and I need to make a push. But BJ Penn would never be the guy that I would ever call out because I have respect for the guys who paved the way for me. And it really pisses me off when I hear people talk about Uriah Faber, like blah, blah, blah. I'm like, bro, he paved the way for every single fighter from 155 pounds down. If there was no Uriah Faber, there wouldn't be any weight classes like that. And so for people to call him out, like the guy he's fighting, it's just like, I understand what you're doing, but I don't really know who your uncles and your big homies were, but they didn't teach you the right way because you just don't be disrespectful like that to anyone.
Well, you can call somebody out. You can call somebody, hey, look, it's like this would be a great fight between two, I'm going to test myself. You can call somebody out and be respectful when you're calling them out. It's not that difficult to call somebody out and be positive about it, as opposed to making it a negative, I'm going to eat your mother and beat up your babies. And you don't have to go that route. You can be like, hey, look, man, this is going to be a great fight. I'd love to fight BJ Penn. They'd be like, I'm using BJ. I'm not saying that's what you're going to do. I'm just using BJ because that's what we're talking about. But there is that ability for anybody to call anybody out respectfully. You can do it, with a little moniker of hey, you paved the way for me. Let me see where I'm at. Let me test myself kind of deal.
Maybe I should call out Sage Northcutt.
Yeah, right. That wouldn't be a bad little deal. They call him out, and it'd be a huge step up for him. Like he's like, okay, well, he find out real quick. If he lasts through the second round, he'll know where his level's at. He'll know, okay, all right, this is where I'm at in this game right now. I got a little more to work on. Like he'll figure it out real quick.
I don't know. I mean, I'll just cross that path when I get there. But as far as things have been going for me right now, is I honestly believe that Joe Silva's done a great job. Joe Silva and Sean Shelby have done a great job matchmaking for me. Like there hasn't been a fight that I couldn't.
Fuck win. You. Fuck matchmaking for you. Fuck, they've been matchmaking for the fans. Are you fucking kidding me?
Yeah.
Like this week, at the point of this interview, we were literally on the day of where McGregor and Aldo are going to fight. So this week, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, banged up cards all the way through top to bottom. Your card, banged up card, top to bottom. With their matchmaking skills, the company has grown, but their matchmaking skills have quadrupled in the time that they've been doing it. It's incredible to watch these cards, and yours is another. And that's one of the reasons why I'm not mad at you. Like before, if we had this conversation 2 years ago, I'd be like, what the fuck? You lost 3 times in a row. The UFC hasn't cut you yet. I lose 2 times in a row. They cut me right away. But now I look at what's happening, and they're like, Joe was right. Like you fought a super tough vet in Jim Miller, and it's your second split decision loss in 3 fights. It's like, we can't cut Danny Castillo. Are you kidding me? Like this guy, he steps up every single time. The matchmaking is so much better in how they're doing it right now. It's incredible. It's amazing to see what these guys are putting together.
Yeah, I agree. And again, like, I mean, I've got 8 or 9 losses on my record, and all those fights I don't think I was ever out of. Like maybe the first one with Donald Cerrone because I was only training 7 months.
Yeah.
I had trained 7 months. I had 5 fights in 7 months, and then they gave me Donald Cerrone, so I was a little bit, I wasn't ready for that at all. I knew that, but that was the start of my story. They gave me a 5-fight deal after that, and I came back, and I've been fighting hard and fighting the toughest dudes in the world. So, I don't think I've ever been in the fight. Like the Jim Miller fight, I think I could have won that. The Tony Ferguson fight, I could have won that. All those fights I should have won. So I don't think they've ever outmatched me. I've never been, I've never been like a Cody Pfister going up against a Sage. Like I've never been an underdog like that ever. So I just let those guys take care of it.
Yeah, smart. That's last call. Danny Castillo getting ready to fight Nik Lentz on UFC Fox 17. Thanks, Danny. Appreciate you coming on here. It's great as always to talk to you, man. I'm always so happy every time I get you lined up for an interview. Have fun with the rest of your training camp, man, and have fun.
Thank you. And that's the most important thing, man. All the pressure's gone. I mean, what's going to happen? I'm going to lose by submission. That's already happened. I'm going to lose by knockout. It's already happened. I'm just going to go out there, have fun, and feed off the crowd. Every time I jab and I hear the crowd roar, that's just going to motivate me, and I'm going to have some fun and be in the moment and hopefully put on a tremendous fight for the fans.
Great job, Danny. Appreciate it so much, man. We'll talk again soon.
Thanks. Take care.